of years ago, Sugar released a SDK for the mobile app, which is a software development kit. And so what that allowed us to do is to take Sugar's core main app and enhance it and add features and functionality that didn't exist, things that we heard from our clients, from prospects. One of the most common things that we heard about was the ability to have geo mapping, both not only on leads and contacts and accounts and things like that, but also very specific requests on jobs and project tracking and things like that as well. So not just on a contact level or a lead level, but also on an account, and then you can do custom tracking if you have custom requirements as well. So this is basically the app that is the core app is the Sugar app, and we've enhanced it and added different features and functionality for it. Jesse, you want to go to the next slide? So just talk a little bit more, expand a little bit more on the actual feature functionality in terms of the what Sugar Mobile enhances based off of what the Sugar mobile app natively doesn't support. So a couple of main things. So one, we give the ability, like I discussed, to do geo mapping, geolocation. So both from an account perspective, based on where you're at on that particular account, and we'll get into that. We'll show you how that works. So say you went into a meeting with an account or a contact or a lead, and you wanted to see everything nearby that account. You could do that very easily with the nearby function, and then you'll have the ability to then look on a map to see, who you want to go or which route you want to take. Previously, we only had, the ability to map one account per route, but now we'll talk about some of the additional features. We've changed that now. Another thing is that the native Sugar mobile app does not support any sort of calendar view, and that's another core feature that a lot of our clients are asking about, is they want the ability to have the Sugar calendar be represented in the app as well. Because a lot of a lot of the reps, what they have to do without a calendar is they have to just use it on their phone, and that doesn't necessarily sync always to the Sugar calendar. So if you use our calendar through the mobile app and you have Sugar Connect or the Outlook plugin, they will sync directly to your Outlook and your phone as well. Another thing that we've added is the ability to also quickly check in on an account. So once you've navigated and geolocated an account that you wanted to access, you have the ability to check in and out of that particular account without having to do anything more than just click a button. We also have the ability, if there's custom requirements, we can work with you on those. If there's specific things that you're looking to accomplish with the app, just let us know if you have any questions, and we can discuss what that would take, or if it's on our roadmap. We also do have, we get feature requests all the time, and we really like when our clients reach out to us and give us ideas for what they think should be in the app. So please don't hesitate. If there's specific things that you want out of mobile, just let us know, and we can talk through those. Next slide. So just a high-level preview of some of the updates that we've added. So the calendar, mostly around the user interface, has been updated. So it's a lot easier to see your calendar and update and schedule meetings and calls and things like that directly through the calendar section of Sugar. We've added list view updates that pulls in more information than just the link to the account. So when you're looking in your recently viewed or your list of accounts, you'll now see more information, and you'll see things like the city that they're in. So you'll know, even without mapping, maybe which account that you want to go to. And then there's also the updates to the near me and nearby, which has added routing. So you can actually select multiple accounts or locations, and then you can look at the route and see, what the timeline is, for that particular route as well. And so that at a high level, those are some of the updates. I'll also take you through just briefly an overview of the app in general, in case you're not familiar with it, so we can go through that as well. I think we're ready to go. If you want to make my presenter. So this is the mobile app here. And if you wanted to, so first thing, just to kind of give you an overview of how the mobile app works. Whenever you open the app, the first thing you'll see is everything that's been recently viewed. I like this because it gives you a reminder of all the records that you've recently viewed, and if you wanted to actually, maybe you forgot to update something, or you wanted to reach out to them but forgot to, this is basically the first view that you get. You have the ability also to flip the view if you wanted to see your favorites, your records, all records, that sort of thing as well. This bar at the top, the hamburger menu at the top left, gives you the ability to access all the different components of Sugar. I don't think we have it installed on this, but Sugar recently also added the ability to do quotes on the mobile app as well. So a couple of things that we've added. So of course you have the ability to go to all your different accounts, your different contacts and things like that, and drill into them and go from there. You can go into an account, as you can see here. So a couple of things. Most of this here is native in the Sugar app. A couple things that are not native are the check-in as well as the nearby. So we'll get into that in a second. So this is the menu of the accounts, and all of your contacts and leads and things like that as well. What we've added are a couple different things. So at the bottom here, you have Near Me. So Near Me is a little bit different than Nearby. So Near Me does not require you to be by any account or anything like that. Say you went to lunch and you're not near an account, contact, or lead, that's when you would use the Near Me. And so what we're doing now is we're saying, okay, let me see everything that is within 5 miles around me. And then you could also, if you were looking for a particular type of contact, you could say, okay, I'm not looking for leads, I'm actually just looking for my companies. You can go ahead and narrow that as well. You could also, this is on the phone, you could also use it on a tablet, and you could sort of have it in landscape type view as well if you wanted to. So it's up to you in terms of the layout, how you want this to work, whether you want it to be landscape or portrait. From here, you can also, so you can kind of flip it back and forth, so you can expand the map. So if you just wanted to look at the map view, just to kind of see which accounts are near you, you can go ahead and sort of drill in and hover. You can click on it, and then it shows you, that particular account here. If you click on it, it can show you the directions, and then you can launch the turn by turn as well. So a couple different things. So you can go into the map view. You can also do it in the map view, and then you can also do it on the list view. Yes, you can do it that way as well as on the list view. Give me 1 second here. There we go. So when you pull it up, then you'll have the ability to then also select multiple accounts if you want to. So say we wanted to go in a wider range. You can see here, you can also pull up, they'll show up more in the list here as well. So say we wanted to go to a couple different accounts, and maybe they're not right next to each other. Maybe we want to start off in Woodland Hills, and then we wanted to go maybe to somewhere downtown. So that's where we had a meeting later in the day. So you can select both, and then you can also get a route. So one will take you to the first location, as well as the second location as well. And you can do this for as many as you want. You didn't want to necessarily go based off of the route there. You can also drill into the account and then just map it directly from there as well. That's near me. The other feature is nearby. So nearby is based off of an actual record that you're at. So when you're at that account, you could say, okay, well, I'm going there today. I want to see who else is near there. And then select the distance, and just kind of browse it, and you can see, okay, here's some of these accounts. And you could either go directly to the map and get your directions and go from there, or you can go into the account, look to see if there's any notes or things that are relevant, and then map it directly to the location that you want to go. You have the ability to check in, and then you also have the ability to check out. So if you're wanting to track how long the meeting was and things like that, the check-in functionality will create an actual meeting record. And then you'll have the ability to see your checkouts here, where you could just go in, and then it puts a timestamp on it, and then you can put in your notes if you wanted to. Through the native mobile app, you can also do voice to text. So through the app, it uses all of your native phone features. So as you can see here, when I click on to add in my notes, this is just my standard keyboard. And I can start typing in my notes or speaking in my notes as well. And kind of go from there. So you can save it. It's like there's some validation rules in here, but that's kind of the idea of the check-in and check-out. You can also save searches. So you can come in here, actually save a search. So you can have that search, and then you can click the save, and then you'll have all of your different saved searches here. You can name them a certain way. If you have a specific territory that you go out to frequently, you can save those searches, and you can pull them up anytime. That's sort of the nearby and the searching functionality. Now let's go into spend a couple of minutes on the calendar. This is the calendar here. It'll give you the ability to look at different views. So if you just wanted to look at today's view, as you can see here, it's showing anything that's going to happen after the time that you are at the current time. You can come in just by clicking on it. You can come in and create a meeting. If you're related to, you can add your guests to it as well. If you're using the integration with Outlook Connect or Outlook plugin, I could also send out a meeting invite as well. But you can very easily save that record. Go back to the calendar, and it'll be there as well. So you have the ability to read your calendar. So if you have the view directly from, say you have an integration to Outlook or Office 365 while you're in the app, you can see that directly through here. You can bounce back and forth between the day view, a monthly view, if you're trying to get a feel for how busy you are that month, as well as the week view. We can also configure it so that if you wanted to take off weekends, we can configure that and remove it and just make it Monday through Friday. That's the view. You can create meetings. You can also create calls as well. So you can create call records, save them. If you relate them to a specific contact or account or a lead or what have you, it's going to save it both on the calendar, but then it's also going to relate it directly to that account. So if you're on the account, you would see that same call as if you were on the calendar as well. In terms of the mobile E, that is about the extent of what we have to show at this point. There are more that we can show in terms of the routing and collecting more accounts, but at a high level, that's some of the new features. So we've added just a recap. We've added multiple routing. We've added enhancements to the list view to add more details from an account level so that you can see the details without having to drill into that particular account. And then we've also updated our calendar with the UI and changing, giving you the ability to have multiple different views, and then also to have the configurability to remove weekends as well. So with that, I think I'll go ahead and stop sharing my phone, and we can see if there are any questions, things we want to address while we have people for another 10 minutes or so.
All right, thanks, Jake. So one question, if they are currently using Sugar Mobile E, how do they get these updates?
So the updates, basically the updates are, you just need to go to the App Store and just download the app, and the updates are both on Google Play as well as Apple iTunes for you to download. So anytime we release an app, it comes to, as long as you have your app notifications on, like in your iTunes or Google Play, you'll have the ability, it basically pushes it to your phone, and you have the ability to, you can also auto-update it, but you may not want to do that with all of your apps. But yeah, just go to the App Store and download it, and you'll have access to the new features.
Okay, great, thanks. And then there was another question on how pricing works for this product.
So there is a per user, per year price similar to Sugar. So currently it's $10 per user per month, or $120 per user per year. There are some implementation costs associated to it, one-time costs, because there are some things that need to happen. So there's packages that need to get installed into your Sugar instance, training, and then there's also geo-coding your instance. So all of the addresses need to have longitudes and latitudes in order to work with Google's mapping API. And Google just recently updated their API costs. It used to be free. You could geocode and geomap as much as you want. Now they're limiting that, and it's free up to X amount. I'd have to clarify on what that was. So if you have a large database, if we're talking, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of records that need to be mapped, just reach out to us and let us know, and we'll let you know what those, what those associated API costs would be from Google. These aren't any costs related to FayeBSG. These are just costs that are passed on from Google directly to the client.
Okay, and then there was a question about texting, and if it's possible to text with the mobile app.
Yes, that's definitely doable. So yeah, there's a texting component. We also have our own texting plugin with Whitel that has messages, SMS module directly in the app as well. So, it's kind of up to you. The native Sugar app has a text button, but the text don't sync. Like it just launches your phone text, and the text doesn't get saved or stored in Sugar or anything. If you use our Whitel integration, the messages are done through the app and they're archived in the app, and you can see all the responses in the app. So, a couple different options. With the Whitetail integration, the texting will be directly in the Sugar app. If you're just going to use the native Sugar app without our Whitetail integration, there's a button to text, but then it leaves the app and you text from your phone.
Got it. All right, thank you. Well, that is the extent of our questions. If any other questions pop up, definitely reach out to myself or Jake, and we're happy to get you some answers as soon as we possibly can. So thanks for presenting, Jake, and thanks everyone for joining us today. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll follow up with you post-webinar to see what you thought. Have a good one, everyone.